All right, we're going live.
Good go.
I will call the Wyoming County Business Assistance Corporation Board meeting to order. And we, for the record, have the same attendance that we had in our IDA board meeting, which we just completed, so I'm not going to go through that again. We have a quorum. You also all have copies of the September 12th meeting minutes. And the financial statements for September, as well as the status of the BAC loans. I'll give you anyone a minute to look at the minutes. If there are no additions or corrections or discussion, I'll accept the motion to approve those minutes. Do I have such a resolution?
Move the minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, with regard to the financial statement, as is our custom, I'll ask Robin to summarize and point out anything unusual.
All right, thank you, Chairman. We didn't have anything unusual. We started out with $1,260,385. We got in a little bank interest and mortgage loan interest and some principal, and that's about it. We had just very few legal fees this month, and we ended up the month with $1,313,078 in cash and investment funds. On the backside is the loan portfolio, and everything's going along fine. We don't have anything to complain. Everybody's paying as they should. Almost.
Jim, what about the action on prices?
Yeah, I mean, they've never, Action Enterprises is the private sector corporation for community action. They're the ones that borrowed the money, and it was for doing a demo on the Tempest Street building that used to be a Champion facility in Perry. And they used that money, the former executive director used that money for something else, and they just decided not to really pay the money. But it's still on their books. Every year they send us a interest payment based on that $150,000. And what's that amount to that they paid over the years? Without?
Oh, over the years, it's been close to $40,000, I think.
And what they pay is what's on there,
Yeah.
the 4,875.
Yeah, they pay $4,875 each year.
That's the interest.
That's just the interest they're paying. And
The
then
reason I bring it up is we're Board of Supervisors going through the budget. And of course, community action always asks for an appropriation. And, of course, we talk about all the good that community action does, but I said, before we get carried away, you guys should know something about this. I have to have paperwork with me. And, talking about, I use the former director, so everybody knew who he was. So you've got people who are so new, don't even know
Yes.
who the former director was and what happened. I also spoke about the Bayless building that was given to them.
Yeah.
So there was some question about it, so
yeah.
rightfully so, I think.
Well, I have the same issue, Doug. As you know, the executive director position changes hands about every other,
Yeah,
you know,
and,
every other year, and then they have to go re-educate somebody about, well, you still have this obligation.
yeah. I said, I would like to see a report. And of course, the same person who was the supervisor in the town where the energy law was passed that we discussed here,
Yeah.
is also a board member of community action and has been all of this time. My question is, who's watching the store? Okay, because, and the Board of Supervisors doesn't get a report on where this money's gone, they talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the board's appropriation for years has been $45,000 county. And it certainly does good work. And I don't know if the rest of you know, but about community action. But there are people in the county who come on hard times, who, because of their situation, whatever it might be, do not fit the criteria that's demanded in social services to receive food stamps, rent assistance, health care, a place to live. Community action fills that void temporarily until they can. Some of these things are emergency situations. I believe that they have a good staff and they do good work, but the place has been mismanaged.
How do
Simple
they
as
get their
that.
money besides
This is it.
supervisors?
And I don't know, and see, this is the point that confuses me, is there federal and state funding that comes into this? I don't know that. I've never been on the board, but we've had two people from the Board of Supervisors served on that board for years. And the president of the hospital board of managers also has been president of the Community Action Board. And of course, we know what a success story the hospital's been for the last 3 or 4 years. So, just a point.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do with
Yeah,
this.
they said, how can this be? I said, "Well, you can't make a silk purse out of a hog's ear, you know, there's no money to be gotten. So, but on the other hand, I don't wanna be responsible for, I don't say responsible, but part of the decision to cut them off at the knees because, you know,
They do fill
this
it in.
money would have been there once again without the windmills, so.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're doing our share as far as, or the IDA is, as far as helping to support this program. And Mark Merrill there said, hey, Mark, how long would this be going on at the bank? Not long. Not 10 years.
Very well said.
Just a comment.
Not good.
Anything further on our financial report? Any discussion, questions? If not,
The change in running Table Rock make any impact on there's a very low price on the offer paid off, but
Yeah, they've been paying like clockwork.
yeah, so that obligation sets on Table Rock's.
That's right.
Not on the other Osborne.
Yeah, it's on their books. I don't know what kind of arrangement they may have made otherwise for debt.
We wouldn't want to lose that, if that's a 1%.
No, you don't let that money go.
do I have a motion to accept the financial report?
I'll make it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And once again, we all just signed compliance documents. Moving along to 2A, Jim, I'll let you speak to that.
Yeah, in your board packet, there's a quick little write-up of some grant that were applied for through the new money that we got from the BAC got from the county, which got from the Office of Community Renewal in New York State for micro enterprise grants. These are small grants to businesses of less than 5 employees, that where the owners have to be low to moderate income owners to be eligible, or they must create a full-time job and make it available to someone of low to moderate income needs. Just like the previous grants that we've had, we are required to put together a committee who reviews the grant application and vets them. Harrison Studios is the administrative entity that we're using for this grant program. And so once we received the applications for the ones you're going to review today, they were sent off to the Harrison Studio where they were vetted by their staff. And then their staff came out earlier this week. It's been a long week, hasn't it?
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday it was yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost the whole day someplace. But anyways, on the committee, they received a presentation from the Harrison studio. Is myself and Robin and Jennifer and Scott and Eric and Mike Fitch and Jeff Fitch and Brianna Stone. That's the committee we have put together, and they discussed each of these applications at length, discussing the pros and the cons. And the slate of projects that you see in front of you today are the full recommendation of the committee to the BAC board. I'm not going to go through and read each one if you know of them or not, but Jessica Sheet from Wyoming, she has gone through a couple of our training programs through the business center. She's really identified a need where speech therapy is a big void in this county. So her application is, centers around meeting that need by bringing some additional services and speech therapists into her business that she's located on the village of Wyoming in what was the former nurse practitioner's office there?
James Place.
Yeah. So the board liked that one at $20,000. Stephanie Russell has the Studio Cafe in Warsaw. That's a little coffee shop and art place. It's kind of where it used to be the clerk's car dealership, that little plaza there on the side. Right now, the chiropractor has moved back there. I think it's one of Nicholas's properties.
At least she teaches a little ceramics too, doesn't she?
She teaches art classes.
That's
She
a lot to do with
allows
ceramics, I believe.
art to be displayed. She has
Yeah.
potters that come in.
Yeah.
She has been in business a couple years. These are high risk grants, by the way. That if they just to kind of help the small businesses take that next jump up.
Well, she's been there a number of years,
Couple, anyways,
at
and
least, yeah.
she, her and her husband have bought the building over here on Main Street in Warsaw where the Rock and Roll Barbecue place used to be right on Main Street. They're going to be fixing that up and moving their cafe into there. I think it's a better location for her, and she'll be able to expand her services. So the board liked that one as well.
Did you move her ceramics there too, do you know?
Yes, sir.
All of it.
Is this a continuation of the original vision to make Warsaw, Jacksonville, Wyoming?
I think it's a Bill Daly
For
effect.
artisans.
Yeah. See what happens when you have a board that goes way back. We got a lot of history.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I do.
How's that going anyway?
The third one is Rick Ryan. I don't know if you can think of anybody else in the county that cleans carpets, and I can't. And Rick is the guy. He was working full time for Carl Dreskow. He now has cut his hours back part time. You'll see his van around town. It's called Rick's Carpet Cleaning. He purchased a competitor, also in the kind of the geographic area, and is going to be taking over his equipment. Rick has gone through a lot of our training programs at the Business Center, both the Fast Track and Business Accelerator Academy. Very dedicated, very passionate. The board feels confident that the grant going to him would certainly help grow his business. So
You one-man show?
he is now, but he's going to be adding on.
That's the same cleaning service that has been there up on North Main Street.
No, that's Meidenbauer's. They're no longer doing carpet cleaning. They just do commercial cleaning,
Yeah,
like janitorial services and stuff. This guy just does independent residential carpeting. He actually cleaned the chairs in this room.
Years ago.
Very good.
So he does upholstery cleaning, things like that.
How's your chick now?
Anyway, the next one is Melinda Martin. Melinda and her husband have a farm in Sheldon, the dairy farm. They're trying to diversify their operation there. And by doing so, has applied for $20,000 to start a beef herd. It's an eligible type of activity through the program. And it's a way for them to become more diverse and not so reliant just on dairy for revenue.
They have a dairy farm as of now.
They do. It's called High Ridge. Herefords is the name of her farm, but if you ever go into, I know Doug, you're an arcade guy. If you go to the dairy case section in Brasses, look above the milk display, there'll be a picture of Martin Farms up there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Because they're a co-op member.
about. Upstate.
Upstate. Melinda used to work, she's got a degree from Cornell University. She used to work at Cornell Cooper Extension here years ago. That's where I got first to know her.
I know Route 77, the Martin family and I, farmers there, is that?
Yes. That's where their farm is.
Right on
On
77.
77.
One of those gals did a lot of babysitting for our family. She's got 4 kids of her own now, I don't think she babysits.
And then the final one that we are hoping the board will consider by the committee is on the back. It's Jack Wilson. Jack has started a trade in woodworking school in Perry. He's set up in the old Wyoming County Power Sports Building, which is
Oh, yeah.
directly across from McClurg's Chevy dealership.
Finally, somebody's in there.
Yeah, and he's already had a couple classes. Things seems are going pretty well for him. He's kind of defined a niche, and so he's requesting $20,000. Eventually, I think he's renting space there. Eventually, I think he wants to move into his own independent space because the board may remember this. The building now is owned by Marcy Wolkett, who remember came to us, wanted to buy the IDA land over in Perry that we own, the 2 acres.
Yeah.
Where she had a business called My Cup Runneth Over.
Oh, yeah.
She was going to establish a not-for-profit that helped develop job skills for young people with disabilities that have aged out of the school programming, and there wasn't any alternative for teaching them job skills and those sorts of things. Anyway, she has purchased the building from Jennifer Hall, who owned Barnes Way, and so Jack is a tenant in that building for now.
How much the building's got?
Not much.
That's a
Small
big
piece.
building.
It's 8,000 square feet of building. Yeah.
That's good.
So those are the 5 projects that the committee would like to recommend to the BAC board for approval. If maybe we could tie item B, Mr. Chairman, to this as well. For any of the projects that we approve are in need of a grant anticipation loan. With the way these state grants work, you have to come up with the money up front before you get reimbursed. If you're a small business, you don't have $20,000 to do your project. So they apply to us, we provide them a short-term loan of $20,000 at no interest, no application fee. Once they get their money, they can do their project, and then when the grant comes in from the state, they pay off the loan completely. So for anybody that needs that, I'd like to tag on that loan anticipation note with the approvals.
So this money comes from the state, not from our,
It actually comes from the federal government, it comes from HUD through the State Office of Community Renewal.
and these people have to go through certain type of, they go through the enterprise training.
There's entrepreneurship training that they have to
They have to
do.
do that before they qualify for it.
They all have,
Yeah, and they-
or they will be. Some of them are still enrolled in our fast track, which we have about 3 classes left.
okay.
All of it's that fast track class meeting.
Uh,
Every week.
Once a week for 10 weeks, 1 night a week, 3 hours in the spring and the fall session.
Hey, the time is pretty good. And then these guys are the ones that applied for it, or you had to choose from a list greater than that?
We have some others that are in the pipeline that we're gonna bring to you the next time around.
Is there a limit on how much you can,
Yeah.
20,000 to every?
20 is the max. Of course, everybody asks for the max. But we have about $255,000 to
Yep.
grant on this project, so there'll be another batch coming in.
So you got the 100 already committed to, if this goes
Yes.
We do have more applications. Some of them are still getting their information together, and some of them have Yeah, some other things that they gotta get done for like, their site, where they're gonna be located and things like that. So we do have quite a few applications that we didn't get approved yet.
Yeah, and just so the board knows, I mean, there's a full vetting on these. There's credit analysis that's done. There's, they have to provide tax returns, these are not just, well, yeah, here's $20,000, we gotta be for real.
It's not, obviously it's not industrial, I mean, it's not manufacturing, these are retail businesses and real estate.
Right. Yeah, and it's,
Education.
right, I mean, the IDA can't do lending anyway, that's why all everything's done through the DAC.
But they still have to apply for the grant.
Yes.
And go through the training to qualify.
And have to be income eligible or make a job available.
If there's further discussion, I'm sure it'll be good. If not, do I have a motion to approve the 5 grants and to authorize grant anticipation loans until if needed, and you'll charge interest on these loans, is that correct?
No interest, and you'll see, Mr. Chairman, there's several resolutions
Oh, it says
in the board packet,
Who will that, Chairman?
And
one for each.
there's a resolution for each.
Yep.
I'm not gonna decide it again, it's all paperwork. So do I have a motion to?
Yeah.
Joe moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there other business before?
No, sir.
Our next meeting will be November 14th, right after the IDA meeting. And I think I will not be here at that, we're working on the forum. Because I'm not sure I'll be back in the country at that time.
You're not going anywhere.
Pretty damn close.
All right.
I'm going to New Zealand.
Oh,
Well, I'm going down under.
Yeah.
That's the second closest place to get our.
Dairy farms.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Let's do it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
What are you doing?